Yes. So the whole aim should be how to strengthen the vital force. That is what we have to do. How can you strengthen the vital force? And how to direct the vital force? To direct the vital force, to add strength to the vital force. And the directing the vital force can be possible by proper channelization of the energy from the mental level of consciousness. Because that is the channel, that is the natural channel. In a healthy person, the light or the energy of the soul, consciousness from the soul, flows through the mind into the vital level. When a healthy person. Now, in this person, the problem arises because of this. The flow is interrupted by certain factors. So, proper direction for the vital force can be possible when you re-establish the free flow of energy from the mind level.
From the mind level.
Yes. And that can be possible when you eliminate the obstacles at the level of mind. Otherwise, when the mind is blocked with these obstacles, then the flow of energy is blocked. So you have to eliminate the blockage from the mind level. And that blockage is what is called miasm. The miasm is a big blockage at the level of mind. That is why many times, even though you have selected a remedy basing upon these principles with similarity, even then this remedy you will not be able to make the vital force react, because at mental level there is blockage. So the blockage at the mental level obstructs the flow of this energy from the soul to the vital force and body. That is the problem. How can you identify this? How can you eliminate this? How can you identify which is the real disease? This is where Hahnemann has explained so well, so excellently to the human race, which is the real disease and how can I identify this, and what is the method to eliminate this. So without the help of the science of homeopathy, in the medical field it is not possible to eliminate these factors from the deeper levels of consciousness. Always Master used to say, he used to tell that there should come a time when all these various branches of medicine should come together to make complementary for each system. Synthesis. That is very much required. But still, the modern medicine is still difficult for them to accept because that is very commercialized. No. If all the people will be healthy, then they will lose their business. That's the problem. So for example, When you find a child, an young man, a young boy or young girl from childhood, because you can find the distortions in the behavior, you can identify even from the very early age because of the inheritance of the miasms. For example, you find a child who has a tendency to escape from the house very frequently. You can find many children now like this. Suddenly the child escapes from the house. The parents feel that the child is at school, but from there he escapes for a few days, spends at the house of some friends or somewhere else, and then the money needed is taken away from the house secretly. So this tendency to take some money and escape and enjoy and after the freedom, and after the money is spent, then comes back home and doesn't feel at all, no feeling that he has done something wrong, no feeling. And you cannot, even the parents for a long time cannot know also what is happening. I have many cases where at the end of the year, the school people, they sent a notice to the parents that your child is continuously absent for so many months. Unbelievable for the parents. Because the child makes everything as if he is going to the school along with other children, goes up to the school and doesn't go into the class, leaves this bag and this thing somewhere else and goes and enjoys, and in the evening comes back with other children. The parents cannot know what is happening. So clever. Yes, I have such patients.
Higher diplomacy.
Higher diplomacy. Very, very intelligent. That is the thing. You see, using such high intelligence is used by them. It is misuse. So, the parents could not know till the end of the year what has happened. The parents cannot believe. They argue with the school administration that my child was going to school every day. We are sending. That is also true. He is taking the books, he is taking the box with lunch and all, everything like other child. Unbelievable for them. And when it is proved for them by the administration of the school, and then they make inquiry, and then they are shocked. You see, they could not detect this tendency in the child for a long time. So such children, when they are not detected, slowly this tendency of stealing money and these things increase in them. And these are the children who get into the influence of drugs and all these things. Addictions. They get into addictions. That is another problem. So when once they step into the addiction, then becomes dangerous, because regularly they have to earn money, they cannot earn, so they have to steal. Stealing from the family. But the question is, how he got this type of tendency, from where? If you investigate, definitely either from the previous generation or previous up to 7 generations from anywhere he can inherit this. Either his grandfather or grandmother, from this side or from that side, or great grandfather, from somewhere this has come into the inheritance of this child. It may not be exactly in the same procedure. But the principle, on principle, the tendency is inherited from previous generations.
Will it grow?
Huh?
Will it grow every day?
It will grow stronger. With every successive generation, it grows stronger and stronger. So this is, all this tendency is the result of the tuberculosis on the higher level of consciousness.
This is cheating.
Yes. Deceitful, cheating, and easily telling lies.
Lying.
Lies. Yes. Yes.
What happens to the next generation?
If they are cured from this, then next generation will be free from this. Yes?
Good news. Ananta Krishna. There is a question. If we will take this example particular, on what level of consciousness is this?
This is on higher mental level. Because it is not using the discrimination. Buddhi is there higher. This mind, the person is not allowed to go into buddhi. The mind is stronger, and the mind is at the level of mind, on the higher level of mind. It is not allowing the person to use buddhi. It is disconnected with the discrimination. Once there was a colleague of our father in the college, a co-lecturer. There is another senior lecturer to our father when he was working at Guntur. And one day, this lecturer, while they were not in the classroom but in the staff room, he was telling to his colleagues, to my father and other colleagues, my son is very intelligent, you know what he did? He was telling that, he was praising his son. He said, my son was so intelligent, he is still very young, but from that childhood itself, he is showing great intelligence. What has happened? Then he said, we went to a marriage. Their family went to attend a marriage function. And then, during this, in the marriage place, some coins were there kept on some table or somebody's. So he said, what my son did, my son is so clever that he just looked at this and then he has put his hand like this on this and observed that nobody sees, and afterwards collecting with his cloth, he collected these coins, and then after coming home, he has shown the coins and said how he brought it, how intelligent he is. You see?
Poor child.
So, yeah, father was proud. You see? Yeah, because it is inheritance. It is clearly showing the miasm, how he is inherited. Actually, if the father is really a really healthy fellow, he should feel guilty of what his son was doing. But he was praising the son. That is the funny thing. Yes. When Master was teaching us homeopathy about miasms, then he gave this example. Then we could know, this is due to the disease. Till then we did not know that this is a disease. But then when he explained us about miasms and gave this example, so this is the disease. This is the real disease. But for normal medical science, no knowledge of this, where the disease is. So if this boy is cured at that stage, he can be prevented from getting into dangerous situations after 30 years or 40 years. We found many younger generation, many girls and boys of very young age who are getting this type of mentality, to cheat their parents, to cheat the others, stealing, and this is what is called kleptomania. This is not understood as a disease in normal medical science. But if they are not cured at this stage, they will get into dangerous diseases after 20 years or 30 years, not immediately. Therefore, this cannot be connected by normal medical science. The normal medical science cannot connect these things. He may get into either cancer or tuberculosis. So we have to select the remedies which can have this tendency, which can produce these tendencies in a healthy person. We have the remedies like opium, tuberculinum, these are the examples of the remedies where you have, but don't think that if tuberculinum 200 is given to some person, you should not think that this person is having this. Tuberculinum in very high dilution, not in 200 dilution. If you have to give this remedy in this condition, it is not in a low dilution. It is to be given in 50,000 CH. Yeah. But only one dose, not so many doses. If you give many doses, finish completely. Only one dose, and for 1 year at least you have to just keep observing. No need to repeat. One dose works for 1 year, 2 years, sometimes 5 years also, we have seen. There is an young man who has very great intelligence, but lazy to physically to make a work and earn. So this fellow is very intelligent, and he applied such methods to earn. What is the methods? He takes the addresses and phone numbers of people who known people, and he moves in the group so that everybody thinks that he is very good natured boy, and suddenly he comes to you and says, I urgently need 1,000 rupees. For what? Then he says, my father is in the hospital, I have to pay immediately. Then you will believe. He can present it in a very most believable manner. He can convince you in such a manner that you can have no doubt at all. So immediately you will give this. He says, within 2 days I will come and pay back, please. And disappears, finish. After 1 year, if he appears before you, if you remind, oh yes, few months ago I came, but your door is locked. That's what he says. I came to pay you this, but unfortunately your door is locked, so I could not meet you. So, very spontaneously, he can tell a lie and makes you believe this. So clever. There was one such fellow who came to when we were there, then he came to Master and said, my wife is hospitalized, she is in a very dangerous condition, doctors want to operate, but money is not sufficient. So then we people we are thinking of collect some money to give it to him. Master said no need. Generally Master will immediately help somebody. So we thought, why telling like this? So Master said, you can go and convince the doctor. You tell the doctor that I told him to operate, go. So this fellow thought that he cannot convince him. And after that we asked Master, why you said we can collect some money and give? Then Master said, it is not true what he is telling. His wife is not in the hospital, nothing. He is habituated to tell such things and take some money and spend that money away for him. So after some months, once again he came. He met some of the persons from the group and said, my wife died and for funeral I need some money. And some people believed and gave some money. And after 2 years, once again he came to another person and said, my wife died, sir. And again. Then we asked, how many times your wife will die? Because he could not recognize us, some of us who were present then. Tubercular miasm. Because in such person, Dr. Kent explains that this is due to utter loss of conscience. So his discrimination is no discrimination at all for him. So he can easily deceive other person for nothing also. Very easily he can deceive other person. So at this stage, normal doctor cannot diagnose any disease. You make all the investigations, nothing, everything is normal. You may take X-rays, you may take magnetic image, anything, nothing. His brain, heart, lungs, everything normal. Because the disease is on the higher mental plane. It has not descended into the physical plane. At this stage it is curable. That is what Hahnemann says. It is quite curable when the disorder is there on the higher level of consciousness. When it descends as a result on the physical body, then it is not so easily curable. That is what Dr. Hahnemann says. Yeah, it has established already. Because the physical plane is the last thing. Then the whole system is completely affected. It's completely damaged. So before it descends to the physical plane, it is quite curable. So if such fellows are treated at that stage, you can prevent the person from getting into the incurable diseases after 25 years or 30 years. Now, but we get some cases where the parents, they come and then say, we have such difficulty, our children are behaving like this. Suddenly the child disappears from the house. After some months comes back. Then the parents will ask, there's some problem like this. Then we say, bring this fellow. Then we take all the information and then give the medicine. In 1 year or 2 years, totally normal. No more of this tendency anymore. We have many cases like this which we have seen how Master cured this, and afterwards the same thing we are continuing also. But the normal medical doctors cannot believe this disease. For the doctor's, disease means something which is perceptible in any of the investigation, that's all. Before that, no understanding of this. But this tendency, this can be seen from very childhood. These tendencies can be observed right from the childhood.
For the modern medicine, this falls under mental disturbance.
But even then also, they may not consider this as a disease. That is the problem. They cannot understand that this is a disease.
Because they open now a new chapter in the Research Organization in Geneva for mental disease. Because they see the world needs something.
Yes.
Because there are hundreds and thousands of reports are coming.
Yes.
So they started a new chapter.
Yes. You see, now the problems are increasing. You know, now there is a new problem which is most common in the Commonwealth countries. Yeah? Yeah.
The Commonwealth countries.
They call this autism. Now, this has come from the US and Australia. From the United States and Australia, there are more children with this problem now. And in the normal medicine, absolutely nothing they can do. It was very well proved because there are many cases. Now in India also, in those families who are for a long time in the US and come back.
But this is also mental.
Mental, it is completely mental disease. Nothing on the physical, they're behavioristic disease. And then in the allopathic, in the hospitals, they told them, because they went to the big hospitals in the United States or Australia, and then they found, and they said, there is no medicine for this so far, only you do this and give vitamins and these things, and some speech therapy or this therapy, but the mental distortion is not understood. But we have now cases cured through homeopathic treatment, because we could know the mental symptoms. Yeah, it is, the background miasm is sora and tuberculosis. It is also due to intense sora in the parents, from the parents' side, and increasing due to the way of life. You see, due to how they live, the parents. These diseases on that mental level, disorders, they are increasing because of the defective procedures in the family.
More and more lying.
Yeah, yes, increasing very much. Because of the lack of proper connection between parents and children.